Om Sam Saraswati Namaste. And tonight we're going to begin reciting the text of the Trishati Stotram from page 232. And I propose that we use the Bhakti Sangeet with the Udgita. And that means that we're going to stop at the quarter of each verse and we're going to take a small breath. And please just try and follow me. Now remember, in Udgit, Ud means utthana, to raise, or the rising, Git, the song. So the song is rising, and all the elongated vowels, remember there are 16 vowels, is an elongated vowel, E is an elongated vowel. All the elongated vowels have a rising tone. So let's try and recite some of the text. Then we'll go back and translate. Trishati Stotram Sri Hayagri Uvacham Kakara Rupa Kalyani Kalyana Kundasalini Kalyana Vaita Nilaya Kamaniya Kalavati Kamalashi Kamashani Karunamrita Sagara Kadamba Kamalasa Kandamba Kusamaya Kandamba Vidya Kandamba Janakam Nabishana Kapura Vini Soranyam Kalorita Rukata Kolidosha Rataja Losanam Kamraviraha Kamali Sakshini Karam Yitri Karamalavada Ekarupa Shekachar Ekanakaisharamiti Hitavidya Videsha Choidananda Siddhati Evavidyam Bavodyam Chaikabhakti Adarchitam Ekadrachita Vidata Kaishana Ramikadita Ilasukami Srikura Chainakura Vinasini Ekavoga Chirasa Chageshwarga Dayini Ekatapatra Samrata Pradachikam Ujita Ekaman Prabhashichan Aneka Jagdishwari Ekabirati Santya Chaika Prabha Vasalini Ekarupa Chesitri Chesitri Karta Pradayini Idrikya Nirjaya Cheswaradya Vidayini Ishana Di Brahmahi Cheswashtasva Siddhitam Ichishrisha Krishnandra Koti Rishwar Palavam Idita Cheswaradandra Shri Reshani Devata Ishwara Prenanakari Chekshakanda Vasachini Ishwara Sanya Nilaya Chedi Bhakta Vidasini Ihati Radhikatisha Shakti Rishmasni Tadana Lakara Rupa Lolita Lakshmi Pamini Sevita Lakini Lagnarupa Lasandarini Bhapala Lamanti Kalasataram Lalaka Nayanatitam Lakshasluva Satyamdi Lakshyoshkandya Naika Lakshana Lakshanakamyam Lakakama Lakakanu Lakakara Dalika Lamimukta Latantika Lambodara Prasulamya Lacharya Loyamartika Ringkara Rupa Ringkara Nilaya Ringpadapriya Ringkara Rija Ringkara Mantra Ringkara Lakshana Ringkara Japasufrika Ringmati Ringvibushana Ringshila Ringpadaratya Ringkara Ringpadavika Ringkara Bhaktya Ringkara Puja Ringkara Rikika Ringkara Vidya Ringkara Chindya Ring Ring Shririni Hakara Rupa Kalajri Pujita Harineshana Haripriya Hararanya Hari Brahmin Lalita Trishati, Harinashwadi Sevita, Astubo Tungapuja, Astikriti Vyangana, Haridrapukumadita, Hargajasmarya Darchita, Harikesa Sakhi Hati, Vidya Alamadalasa, Sakara Rupa Sarvaya, Sarveshi Sarvamangala, Sarvakatri Sarvakatri, Sarvanamri Sanatana, Sarvanamatya Sarvamala, Sundari Sarvasakshini, Sarvatmika Sarvasokya, Datri Sarvasambhimoiti, Sarvadara Sarvakata, Sarvaguna Vivarjita, Sarvaguna Sarvamata, Sarvabhu Sharvushita, Kakarata Kalamji, Kameshi Kamikartada, Kama Sanjirani Kalya, Kastina Stanya Mandala, Karaboru Karanata, Mukhi Kachachadam Buddha, Kataksharantil Karana, Kapali Pranayaka, Karunamika Hakantan, Katadu Bhajatabali, Kalalapakamu Kanti, Karanir Tilta Pavan, Kapabali Samanja, Kasturi Hilakanchadan, Akarata Hamsagatir, Adagata Nojwala, Harahari Kuchaboka, Hadi Hayavarjita, Haripati Samaradyan, Akakarata Kasara, Ashwada Vipotri, Akasatrapasamaha, Sali Salashya Santushya, Hamsamantararubini, Hamnopadana Mukam, Harshini Harisodari, Hahu Mukasvya, Haririti Bharjita, Hayakavina Vidaya, Harikopa Namshika, Lakaraya Lata Pujya, Loyasuya Bhuveshwari. Let's stop here for a few moments and we'll go back and translate for a while. We'll return to page 232. And this is the Trisati Stotram. When you do it in pranayam, with the Udgita it becomes even more exciting, more dramatic, more pronounced. And she dances, and you can watch her dance across all the long vowels, or jumping points. But now let's read these names. The respected Hayagriva said, the form of the primary cause. She is the form of the primary cause. The form of Maya, the form of Prakriti, Mool Prakriti, who is all welfare, the repository of the attributes of all welfare. Kalyan, Guna, Salini, she's the repository of all the attributes, all the qualities of Kalyan, welfare. Who dwells as a mountain of welfare, who is desirable, who is the repository of all parts. That is, she takes all the parts, all the attributes, all the pieces of the whole and unites them into one. Who has lotus eyes. And not only are they beautiful to look at because they're like lotuses and they're round and they're very beautiful to look at, but also the lotus exudes peace. So she has peace in her eyes. And everywhere she sees, everywhere she looks, she sees peace. And she sees through the perception of peace. Who destroys all impurities. Who is the ocean of the nectar of compassion. The Karuna Amrita Sagar. She is the ocean, the sagar of the nectar of immortal bliss, of Amrit, of Karuna, of compassion. Who resides in the forest of turmeric, who loves the blossoms of turmeric. And remember, turmeric is the universal antiseptic. It is the cure for all. It purifies within and without, and it's yellow, the color of our mother, and the color of purity. Who is the knowledge of love, whose glance inspires with love. If she looks at you once, you're never the same. She just glances at you, and you fall in love. Her one glance absolutely inspires us with love, whose delightful fragrance like camphor pervades all existence, who destroys the faults of the age of darkness, who has the eyes of a lotus, whose love is piercing, the witness of all action, who causes all effects, the giver of all fruit. And those are the first 20 names which we begin with ka. Ka. And now let's begin the A's. Ka, A, Ilarim, Ekararupa, the form of wisdom or the form of oneness, the rupa of Ek. And A is also the bija of wisdom. So she is the form of wisdom, the rupa of A, or she is the ekara rupa, the form of oneness. And who is expressible by one letter, ekaksha, who is one and becomes innumerable, who cannot be defined as this or that, neti, neti. And who is one in the bliss of consciousness and does not change. She's always the same. She is more prakriti. Only the world changes around her. She is one and the same in the center. About whom only falsehood can be described or who cannot be described. See, that which is true is enduring. It never changes. All that we perceive changes. And therefore, she cannot be described, or only falsehood, untruth can be spoken, because it's going to change. Huh? If you say, I'm a skinny young man, that's going to change. It's not true. And who can only be worshipped by those whose consciousness is absorbed in one-pointed devotion. I mean, that's the only time we worship is when we really pay respect, when we really focus our attention. And the only time we focus our attention is when we have so much devotion that we can't think about anything else. Who can only be meditated upon by fully absorbed consciousness. Ain't it the truth? The only time you come into meditation is when consciousness is fully absorbed. And who dwells with those who are free from desire. Because the people with many desires, they have a long list and they don't have the time to spend, so they can't stay with her. So she dwells with those who are free from desire or who have reduced their desires to one desire, to be with her. Whose hair has excellent scent, and who alone destroys multitudes of defects. Who is the sole enjoyer? She's the only one who can enjoy, and she is the only object of enjoyment. Ekabhoga. She is the only enjoyer. And who is the sole object of enjoyment, and that also means rasa. Rasa is the sentiment, or the flavor, or the taste, or the bhav, is all part of our rasa. So she's the object of enjoyment, or she is that which has the flavor, or the taste. She is the only taste of life, the only flavor of life, and who alone grants the rulership of the worlds. Who alone is the container of the kingdom of her existence. No one else could contain existence but Mahamaya, Lalita. And even though she embodies herself and dances in the existence, she also is the container of existence, and she is outside the container as well. She is both the container, the contained, and the perceiver of the container. Because she's one with consciousness. And who is worshipped in solitude. whose brilliance continually increases, and who is the supreme ruler of the many worlds, who is served by one pointed attention, etc., and who is the one supreme ruler. And those are the second 20, which begin with E. Begin with A. And the next will begin with E. Ka, A. E. Now we begin the next 20 names which begin with E. And who is the form of E? And E is the causal body. Remember, Hakara stula dehasa, Rakara shukshma dehaka, Ikara karanamaso. Hrim karaham turiyakam. E is the karandeha, the form of, she is the form of the causal body. The form of E. And who perceives the three? And bestower of all objects, or the fruit of all karma, who can neither be sung of nor perceived. Because she's beyond perception. She herself is the perceiver. She is one with consciousness. So you can't define her. So every song you sing is a definition. There's no word to define the undefinable. So she cannot be sung of, and she can't be perceived. We see parts of her, but we don't see all of her. Just as far as you go trying to see her, there's even more. And who grants union with God. Who is the manifestation of supreme consciousness to Ishana and others? That means Sadyojata, Bhamadeva, Agora, Tatpurusha, and the 5 forms of Shiva. So she grants she grants the vision, the manifestation. She becomes embodied to the 5 faces of Shiva. And remember, those are Sadyojata, who always gives birth to truth. Bhamadeva, who is the divine being of love. Agora, free from fear. Tat Purusha, that full, complete, infinite consciousness. And Ishana, the ruler of all. She is the manifestation. She manifests before the forms of Shiva. And who bestows the 8 powers of attainment, the Ashta Siddhi, Lagima, Makima, Garima, Srima, Prapti, Vashikaran. Excuse me, you threw me off. You'll find it in the Guru and the Goddess. I don't remember which chapter. In the Kashyap Sutras. Witness of the 3 worlds. She sees the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. Aim, claim, from whose desire comes forth the egg of creation. She is Icha Kriya Jnana Shakti. So she gives the desire to bear the egg of creation, the Brahmanda, which contains all the possibilities for creation to manifest. And then Brahma brings forth and nurtures this egg, gives consciousness to this egg. Vishnu protects it, Shiva cracks it open, and come all the possibilities of creation. Who has the strength of 10 million lords? Wow. Who is the object of praise? And whose body is the other half of the male aspect of God. So she is the female aspect, Ardhanarishwara. She's the other half. She's his other half. Who is supreme amongst various gods and goddesses? Who is the inspiration of the Lord? And who is the witness of the dance of destruction? Tandava Sakshini. She is the Sakshini, who is the witness of the Tandava, which is the dance which Shiva does at the termination, culmination of existence. Who is seated upon the lap of the Lord, and destroyer of all sundry obstructions, miscellaneous and sundry obstructions. Every time you find an obstacle, she can remove it. Whose every desire is fulfilled. And that means there is nothing that she wants for it. She's got perfect tushti. She has perfect satisfaction, perfect fulfillment. There is nothing that she lacks. It also means that everything that she does want happens immediately. And supreme energy, whose face smiles upon all. Who is the form? And those are the next, that was the third letter of E. Ka, E, E. And now we begin the la's. Ka, E, E, la. Who is the form of la? And la, 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 la. She is manifested existence. It's Indra's bija. It's the bur, loka. It's the prithvi. It stands for all that is perceivable through the senses. She is Lalita, the beautiful or beloved or playful, and those are dictionary meanings. Who is served by Lakshmi and Saraswati, Lakshmi, Bani, Nishevita. Lakshmi and Bani, Saraswati, are both doing seva to Lalita. Who manifest desires of the world, Lakini. Remember, there are Dakinis, Lakinis, Hakinis, Sakinis, Yoginis. Now, mother. Who wears a female form, whose luster is like a pomegranate flower, whose forehead bears the mark of the fruit of truth. Let's go back to the pomegranate flowers. They are really red. A well-read flower. And she has luster like the pomegranate flower, so she's all radiant, and the red stands for passion. So she has a passion in her creation. Whose forehead bears the mark of the fruit of truth. Here the fruit of truth is the perception through which she perceives. All of her perceptions are covered by truth. Prejudiced by truth. Who is worshipped in the eye, in the center of the forehead. Lalata. Nayarchita. In the center of the forehead, in the third eye, in the lalat. She is worshipped in the eye, and she is worshipped through the eye. And she perceives in this eye of intuition. Whose divine body radiates the auspicious goal. Who is the goal of the lords of millions of creations. It doesn't matter how many creations we make, she will still be the goal. And try and make a new creation. Who is the object of all search, or the definition of all goals? Who is undefinable? Who has attained all desires? Who is the embodiment of tenderness? Whose forehead is adorned with musk? Who wears a long pearl necklace? Who has given birth to the one with a big belly? That's my mama.
Oh, you should have been sorry for that.
Who is accessible to devotees? And she is. She'll come to us. All we have to do is call her with a pure heart, and she will come. She's accessible to us. She's not hidden away. She's not locked in an ivory tower. She's our mom. Who is modest and humble? who is not subject to dissolution, and those are the laws. And now we come to the first ring. Ka, e, I, la, ring. And we call ring Maya. But remember, this form of Maya means all that can be perceived through the senses, all that can be conceived in the mind, all that can be known through intuition or meditation and beyond. That kind of Maya. I mean, big Maya. And who is the form of Hrim, Maya? Who resides in Hrim, Maya? Who loves Hrim, Maya? Whose bija mantra is Hrim, Maya? Whose mantra is Hrim, Maya? Who is defined as Hrim, Maya? Who loves the recitation of the mantra Hrim, Maya? Who is the essence of Hrim, Maya? Who shines with Hrim, Maya? Who has the character of Hrim, Maya? Who is propitiated by the syllable Hrim, Maya? Who holds Hrim, Maya in her womb? Who is called by the syllable Hrim, Maya? Who is spoken of as Hrim, Maya? Who is worshipped as Hrim, Maya? Whose place is in Hrim, Maya? Who is known by Hrim, Maya? Who is contemplated as Hrim, Maya? Who is Hrim, Maya? Who is the embodiment of Hrim, Maya? And that's the first form of Hrim, Maya. The Maya Vedanta, who is one in itself, one in harmony with its own self. There is not a second. All of this, all that is perceived, each and every phenomena and the perceiver are one. The object of perception and the perceiver, the witness and the witnesser, the witnessed, they are all one. There is only one Hrim, Maya. And now we begin with Ha. Who is the form of Ha? And Ha, remember, he resides in the Vishuddha, and that is Rudra's mantra. It is Asrutrayate. It is the mantra of unity with Purush. Who is worshipped by those with the capacity to cultivate. If you can't dig it, you can't worship it. You gotta dig it and cultivate. And in Bengali we have a beautiful proverb. It says, "Joto montan koribe, toto malai ute." It says, as much as you churn the cream, so much butter rises to the surface. And in the same way, you've got to cultivate and churn and make it rise and nurture your seeds. It's not enough for the gardener to come and plant the seed and leave and neglect his creation. It's the duty of the gardener to come back and water the seed and spread fresh manure and nurture that seed so that the seed is fertilized and nurtured and well watered and can grow. Whose eyes are like a fawn. And remember our reed mudra, the fawn, the reed is the deer. And the deer has the enthusiasm and the stick-to-itiveness to continue, the fortitude, and sprightly, running through the forest towards its goal. Who is the beloved of Shiva? Who is pleased by Shiva? Who is worshipped by Vishnu, Brahma, and Indra? Who is served by he who is mounted upon a horse? And that has many kind of Hayarura. Of course, there's the horse always stood for the force of running for truth, the continuous aspiration for truth was the horse. Uchaisravis is the horse of wisdom, and then Ashwins, the two horse-faced physicians of the gods, the divine health, bestowing divine health. Kalki comes riding on a horse. Who has offered the horse sacrifice? Ashwamedh. And Ashwamedh means the use of wisdom for the benefit of society. It's a sacrifice of the horse sacrifice. The use of the wisdom of Uchaisravas, of the horse of wisdom, which was symbolized the dominion of the kingdom. The old Ashwamedh Yajna was taken, a horse was set free, well adorned and decorated, followed by a great army, and wherever the horse roamed into the neighboring kingdoms, those kings would come out and they would either challenge and stop the horse, which meant they would do battle with the army, or they would accept the horse as an emblem of wisdom, and they would surrender and unify the kingdoms into an empire. And that way they reduced the amount of conflict in all the neighboring states by creating a unity in wisdom. Who rides upon a lion? We know that lady, Durga. Who rides upon a swan? Saraswati. Who slays demons? Who nullifies the effects of all sins, even murder? Brahmahatya. Hatya Adi. Hatya means to murder, to kill, to slay. Adi, and etc. Various. And pap, sins or confusions and conflicts. Shamani, she nullifies. She shaman, she makes shant. She makes quiet, peaceful, null and void the effects of all sins, even murder. Who is served by the sun and other beings of heaven. All the planets serve her. That's how they revolve around each other, around in the heavens. Whose elevated breasts are beautiful. Who delights in covering her body with a garment made of elephant's hide. Good dresser. I'd like to talk about her elevated breasts for a moment because they're so beautiful. The right breast gives us the nourishment of wisdom, and the left breast gives us the nourishment of devotion, and that's how she feeds her child. All her children are nourished with wisdom and devotion, with her full and elevated upraised breasts. Whose body? Oh, let's talk about the elephant garment. The elephant stands for ahimsa, and it means harmlessness or love for all. I'm causing no pain to anyone. And she's clothed in the garment of causing no pain to anyone. Whose body is smeared with turmeric and saffron? Who is worshipped by the sun and other immortals? Who is the friend of Vishnu and Krishna? Vishnu, Krishna, Rishi, Kesha, Vasudeva, Janardana. She's got lots of friends. Who is the knowledge of the Hadi mantra, the mantra which begins with the letter Ha, which was revealed to Lopamudra. And remember, that's Agastya's wife is Lopamudra. She got the Hadi mantra, he got the Kadi mantra. And together they celebrated the Kahali mantra, Sharasi. Who is in ecstasy with Ha and La. And you know, La means the manifested world, and Ha means consciousness, the perceiver, and there she is in ecstasy, in perceiving the manifested existence. And that is the syllable ha. So we've completed ka, el, il, la, rim, ha. And now let's begin the sa. Who is the form of sa? And remember, ha, sa. Now, sa means that. Sa means prakriti. Sa means all of this. And who is the knower of all? Sarvagya. She has wisdom of all. She has knowledge of all. Who is the ruler of all? Who is all welfare? Sarvamangala. Who is the doer of all? Or creator of all? She is the creator of all, and she performs all action. Who bears and nourishes all? Who destroys all? Who is eternal? So she creates all, she nourishes all, and she destroys all, and she's eternal. Who is without fault? Whose every limb is beautiful. And look at every one of her limbs, they're all beautiful. All we have to do is perceive through the eyes of beauty. Who is the witness of all? Who is the soul of all? Who grants all happiness? Who thrusts all into ignorance? She's the Maya as well. Because when we perceive only one form and forget about the all, we're in ignorance. The ignorance of dualistic attachment. The attachment to duality. She who is the supporter of all, she's support of all, who is the existence of all, within whom all bad qualities are prohibited. Varjit. Sarva aguna. Varjita. All the agunas, the gunas are the good ones, and the agunas are the ones we don't want. And she makes varjit, all prohibition. Who is red with love? Who is the mother of all? Who is the radiance of all that shines? And that is the letter sa, ha, sa. And now we begin the kas. Who is the meaning of ka? Who is the destroyer of time? Kalahantri. She destroys the kala, all time. Kamishi. Who is the ruler of desire? Who is the giver of the objects of desire? Who restores the life of love? She brings sanjivani to love. Who is perfect? Who has firm breasts? Who has beautiful hands and thighs? Whose face is like the Lord of all arts? And not only all arts, but all attributes as well. Kala means an art, and kala means an attribute. And kala means any phenomenon which can be defined as separate or described. So her face is like the Lord of all attributes, all arts. The greatest artist in the world made her face. Whose hair surpasses even the darkest cloud? It's even more dark than these graying hairs. Whose glance emits the nectar of compassion? Who is the master of the life of he who wears skulls? That's Shiva. She was there with all his Kapalic friends, and she is the master, the Naika of the prana, of the life, the prana of the Kapalic, the guy who wears the skulls. That's Shiva. Who is the embodiment of kindness? Karuna, Karuna. Who has lustrous beauty enhanced by love? Kanta. Who whose loving beauty rivals the hibiscus flower. She's like a red hibiscus flower, and her beauty is even more beautiful than the beauty of the hibiscus, whose speech is an art. Everything she said, every word from her lips is just so artistically construed. You get the connotative and denotative meanings immediately. Whose throat has lines like a conch shell. Whose hands are more beautiful than tender leaves. Whose arms are like the vines of the wish-fulfilling tree. They're like a kalpa, bali, samudbucha. They're like a lata, a creeping. They entangle us and entwine us as they reach out and hold us. Who wears a tilak of musk upon her forehead? Who is the meaning? And that was the end of the cause. So we have Kairin Hasaka. And now we move into the Has. Who is the meaning of the mantra Ha? Who moves with the grace of a swan? Hamsa Gati. She has the gati of a hamsa. The gait, the movement of a hamsa. Who shines with the radiance of gold, whose breasts are enjoyed by Shiva and Vishnu, and from the mother's right breast comes forth wisdom, and from her left breast comes devotion, and Vishnu is regarded as devotion, and Shiva symbolizes wisdom. So here they are, being nourished by the Divine Mother. Who is the energy of the universal soul beyond birth and death? Who is devoid of defects, who is worshipped by the Lord of the 10 directions, who destroys duality instantly, who bestows gladness, who enjoys the offerings of sacrifice, who diminishes the great delusion of the heart, who is pleased by the sacred art of dance, who is the intrinsic nature of the meaning of the Hamsa mantra, Soham. I am it. That am I. Who is free from attraction and repulsion. She's got it. She's self-contained. Who is happiness, who is born from the same womb as God, who is praised by the Gandharvas, ha, and who, and we also mentioned in the last book, he, and ho, who prevents negative growth, whose heart is a full vessel, who soothes the anger of God, and that is the end of the Has Sakala. Hasaka Ha. And that's as far as we go tonight. 180 of the names. Do we have any questions?
Only what's the difference between la and la? Short and long.
The long is causative and the la is caused. So they're like cause and effect. And that will be true of all of the short ones and all of the long ones. The relationship between the long and that's the long and the short. Are there other questions?
One that we just did. Verse,
who soothes the anger of God?
No, who diminishes the great delusion of the heart, 171.
Yes.
What's the great delusion of the heart?
Oh, when we fall in love or give our love to other things. The great delusion of the heart. I think I need this. I'm in love with it. I've given my heart to something worldly from which I'm going to have to return. So there's quite a delusion there that enters into the heart. We form this bond of attachment with Maya, the Maya of illusion. And then we think that this Maya of illusion is important to ourselves. And we attach ourselves and act as though it were the substance of our very lives. And it's not really. She is. So that's the delusion of our heart, where our hearts become deluded and our behavior follows that delusion. Are there other questions?
Swamiji, there's a question from Henny from Netherlands.
Yes. Namaste, Henny.
She's asking a question about, it's a mathematical question.
Yes.
I hope I am saying it correctly. She's saying that there are 3 forms of the Mula mantra, Kadi, Hadi and Kahadi.
Yes.
And she says, if I understood correctly, the Kahadi mantra has 16 letters.
Correct.
And celebrates the unity of Shiva with Divine Mother. In verse 10, I think that's on page 217. Ayagriva is given the mantra of 16 letters, but in verse 24, Ayagriva gives the mantra of 15 letters to Agastya.
Right.
It seems he keeps 1 letter secret. Is it because the secret of the union of Shiva and Divine Mother is an inner experience which will come as a result of meditation on the 15-letter mantra?
Very, very good. I have not experienced yet sadhus that are actually practicing the 16-lettered mantra. I have met sadhus who do sadhana with the 15-letter mantra, either Kadi or Hadi, and realize the 16th syllable. But I have not met people who are chanting Kahadi Vidya. Now, we can chant it, but usually this text of Agastya is Kadi Vidya. He received the Kadi Vidya. Lopamudra received the Hadi Vidya. And both of them realized the Kahadi Vidya, which we're going to find out later in the Upasanghar Puja, that Shiva and Shakti revolve around each other mutually and reciprocally. Who understands this understands the meaning of a center of energy. Whereas Lopamudra and Agastya are mutual and reciprocal in their sadhana. Lopamudra is worshipping Shiva and Agastya is worshipping Shakti. They both become pujaris and they both become deities. And that's the meaning of a relationship. That's the meaning of a marriage. That's their divinity. So, yes, I agree with you. The 15 letters are to be recited and they are in correspondence to this text. The 16th letter will be realized.
Another question.
Please.
It's from Nanda. Just like Kali removes our darkness and Lakshmi defines our goal, Durga removes confusion. Is there any particular function of Lalita? For what purpose should a sadhak worship Lalita?
We worship Lalita in order to perceive the beautiful, playful dance, the music and the song and the art, the joy of being able to watch life through the paradigm of looking at the dance and the play and the joy and listening to the sound of her anklets tinkling as she dances across the music of life. That would be her greatest quality, the divine, playful, beautiful, beloved. And she inspires all those qualities, all those characteristics within her worshipers. The capacity to perceive in that way. Absolutely. As we perform in that way, we start putting down the burdens and picking up the opportunities. We release ourselves from the responsibilities and we enjoy the privilege. That's why we worship.
Swamiji, question from Steve.
Yes.
Swamiji, are all our studies leading to the same place, the heart of the mother? Is it at some level Maya appears as an obstacle and then Maya appears as manifestation of our own liberation?
Absolutely, Steve, you have it. Every one of the texts that we're studying takes us through another bhav to the same goal, through another attitude to the same goal. And ultimately, we harmonize all the attitudes and we become the manifestation of bhava. And bhava bhakti utle aha mori mori. That attitude of devotion rises and rises, and I dissolve into the ocean of being. Where am I? I can't say. What has happened to this character, Swami? Aha mori mori. He dissolved into the bhav of bhakti. And all these different texts are different tools we keep in our tool chest, where we pull out the right bhav for the right circumstance, the right time, place, and occasion. And they take us to the same place.
Swamiji, Mula Prakriti.
Mool Prakriti.
How is it related to infinite consciousness?
Oh, Mool Prakriti is not manifest. It's the Prakriti that's unmanifest. It is the mool, the root of all thought before Kri becoming iti, this. So it's one with consciousness. It's the same. Mool Prakriti is the same as Sadashiva and Shakti. They're not separate. It's the stuff that is available to come into harmony. The stuff of a creation before manifestation. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha.
Tomorrow, okay?
Namaste.